Hello friends, you're the Lonesome Gamer, and I'm playing Pax Romana. So we're at the beginning of turn 4, 225 to 200. I'm done with the leader election phase, income phase, manpower phase, all that stuff. And we're ready to start with the activation phase now. Just wanted to show you what I did until now. The Romans ended up with an elite leader here, and that encouraged them to do a campaign against the Greeks in the Danube during this turn. So I also placed a cavalry and I think one additional or two additional legions in Rome. I'm not quite sure. And by the way, the Romans had a little too many legions compared to their civilization points. If you have more legions or heavy infantry than you have civilization points, you lose 2 stability points. That's what happened to the Romans. If you have more than twice legions than you have civ points, you will actually lose 3 stability points. If you have more than 3 times the legions, then you will lose 4 stability points. But in this case, it was just a single legion that they had too much, so they lost only 2 stability points. And this is not so bad because they will definitely gain a few provinces in this turn, so therefore they will regain their stability, pretty sure. In addition, I placed, I think, a legion, new legion here, so that they can continue their campaign and goal. I also placed a legion here, planning to build a city here at Messana. Carthage bought a political goal, and that was that they wanted to control the Aegean Islands. Now that might sound pretty crazy, but because their main the main enemy at the moment, the guy with the most points apart from them is the East at the moment. So they actually thought about moving to Crete so that the East doesn't control that anymore. That would mean that the East would lose this political goal of controlling the Eastern Mediterranean too. Carthage has a ton of fleets, so they can actually they kind of have the tool to do that. They can move there with their fleets and a few soldiers and then attack this town there in Crete. And then from there, it's not far anymore to these Aegean Islands. And the Greeks are already in a lot of trouble because of that army at the Pontus, and here these units from Pergamon. And they can also use that army from the Pontus to distract the Greeks from their plan here at landing in the Aegean Islands. So that might be a plan that the Carthaginians might want to follow here. In addition, their main goal of the turn is to gain more civilization points. For now, they were at the very end. They had a ton of GOPs, the most actually, but they didn't have much civilization points. So they have built a heavy infantry here to build a city there. And then they have left some money to build a few towns here, for example, or maybe there, I'm not sure yet. The Greeks, well, for them it's obvious. They definitely want to control that, want to destroy that army of the Pontus here in the Danube, because their political goal is to control the Danube. But that is not a simple task. They didn't have that much money. They only could build, I think they actually bought 3 or 4 heavy infantry. So they have quite a force here, and they're going to try to destroy these guys. If they have then enough power left, they might still consider retaking, for example, Ionia. I don't know if there is enough to recapture Galatia, but we will see about that. Finally, the East is planning to do his big invasion against Egypt. It's also tempting to say, hey, now that the Carthaginians are gone, we might capture, or now that the Greeks are gone, we can take out Asia Minor without making an enemy here. But on the other hand, they are really eager to take out Egypt, the Ptolemies here. There was no successor war this turn, and they might simply use this opportunity to start a campaign against them. So therefore they've built a few more units to have a really strong army. Apart from that, they want to finish the slave revolt here in Syria. Okay, so I guess we're ready to go, and Rome will activate first. So first Rome wants to do his campaign and goal. Let the Greeks fight the army of the Pontus, and then, if they're both kind of weakened, they will try to move in with this Roman army there. So we pay a buck, draw a card, and we have galley tech, artillery engines. For the remainder of the game turn, your galley squadrons are each worth 3 battle points in any naval battles. Once played, remove this card from the game. Well, that's not a bad card, but it's also not that useful. I'm not planning to do any naval campaign, although I might now consider, for example, attacking the Greek fleet here. Maybe, but I don't think I'm going to do that now. I'm going to lead my major movements for some other things. So I have to roll well if I want to do... My goal is basically to do this, to capture Belgica and Britannia in 2 turns. If I'm rolling well, I should be able to do it, because then with the other 2 turns, I want to do as much damage in the Danube as possible. Now let's see. Yeah, okay, that's a 3. That's not bad, but I'm afraid it's not enough to take it in 1 turn. I counted that. I think I needed a 4 to do it in 1 turn. But okay, we'll see about that. So first it's 2. Well, we have actually 8 movement points now. So that is 2. Oh shit, that's a pretty rough start. We have here 7 tribal infantry. Now let's see, I got 28, 30, 32. In addition to that, I got cavalry supremacy, and I got a +1 shift for the leader. He's not that Now 32 to 7, these are 4 shifts. Plus 3 makes it 7 shifts for the calf plus 1, so I got 8 shifts. And that was very good. So I can bring this up to 100%, reduce that to 0. That should be good enough. Just let me recalculate that. 20, 28, 32 versus 7. These should be 4 shifts, if I'm not mistaken. That's actually 5 shifts. Yeah, that's actually 5 shifts. So it's no problem. I can kill these guys with 1 attack. A little lucky here. And I don't take any damage for that. And that also raises my stability. Okay, but it did cost me 2 movement points. So we now have only 6 left. So I'm going to leave the garrison now here. That is 1. Now to move here, I would need 3 additional movement points, but only if it goes well. I have to roll for this naval transit point. Okay, I'm fine with that. So it's 1, 2, 3 additional. That brings me here to Durovernum. By the way, I got to roll for the leader death. Yeah, fine. And then we're gonna do 2 more to attack Londinium. And we have, wow, an 8. Look at that. But still, got a very strong force here. So again, it's 32 versus 8. That's about 4 shifts this time. Plus 3 makes it 7. So this time we have actually 8 shifts. And that was pretty bad. So I guess we have to I mean, here's the thing, we could still risk it, we could, but we cannot kill these guys completely. I mean, I could risk it if I push this to 100%, and if I take 50% losses, which is a lot, then I could destroy these guys and actually march on against Glevo. Now this is really tempting, because then I still have a lot of... I have 3 movement points left then to march against the Greeks. But of course I would take really heavy losses. I would lose 50% of my army. Boy, that would be tough. Okay, honestly I find that extremely hard to decide. I would lose 4 legions, which is worth $8. If I really push on here, and so I think what I want to do is I'm gonna roll a die, and on a 1 to 3 I'm gonna play it that way. Otherwise I'm gonna play it a little more passive. Okay, so we're gonna do it. We're gonna play this aggressively. So I'm gonna raise that to 100%. Well, actually, that might not be quite necessary. Let me see, we got 8 people, so maybe 90% would be good enough. No, that's not. We really need to do 100% damage. Yeah, so we gotta bring this up to 100% to kill them, and that means also that we would lose 50% of my force. We have 32, therefore we would lose 16. That means we lose 8 legions. No, that's not true. 4 legions, actually. Yeah, that is insane, but it could be worth it. Now we just have to hope that these suckers are not that strong. So let's see for the leader loss first, and we're fine here. So then we can use our last 2 movement points to move against Glevum. Take that out, and this is only a 3, so that is looking much better this time. Now we have only 12, 14, 16, which gives me 5 shifts, plus 3 makes it 8, 9 shifts, so that shouldn't be too hard. Okay, we can bring this to 100% and reduce that to 0, so we destroyed these guys. But that was a very, very bloody campaign here in Britannia. Anyway, we now control the whole goal, and that means we also satisfy now one of our political goals. I don't know exactly where I mixed things up here, but I didn't have the movement points to go to Glevum, actually. So, therefore, I only had enough to do 1 attack against Londinium. So, therefore, I decided to reduce that 5 of the enemy to a 0. Which brings me here back to 20, so I don't take any losses. And I think I rolled a 2. I hate 8 shifts, so I can bring this up to 50%. So there will be 4 left, if I'm not mistaken. I have 4 tribal infantry left now in Londinium. And this is it. It doesn't make any sense to sacrifice all these legions if I'm not able to take Britannia in this move anyway. In addition, I've spent a minor move to build a city in Narbo. I tried to bring a calf over here, but this doesn't work out. The Greeks, they've drawn a rebellion card. So we got to check whether the rebellion will happen. Somewhere must be a rebellion table for that, where we have to roll on. And this is over here, so we roll with 2 dice. Oh gosh, now that is a 12. This is interesting. So we have a rebellion in Britannia here. That could be a problem now that our army is there. We'll see what that means, actually. When the Brits rebel, all garrisons are removed from the province of Britannia. This army may remove, withdraw, or retreat. No one controls Britannia until that army is eliminated. And an army of 3 barbarian infantry is placed by the card player in any one unoccupied space in Britannia. Okay, so we don't have to remove anyone, but I guess we want to play the barbarian infantry anywhere there, anyway there. So I guess I'm going to place these guys up there. Wait a second. Do we have a leader for these guys? I think it was a 0-0 leader, but With no leader, no. Okay. So the effect is very limited of that. And now the Greeks can make their move, and that sucked. That is only a 7. It's still enough to do an attack against the army here. Okay, so we see indeed this massive battle now. 6 heavy infantry of the Greeks against 4 and a calf of the Pontus. So that means we got 18 versus 12. I'm pretty sure this is a single shift. Yep, indeed. The Pontus has the cavalry superiority that then negates that shift, but the Greeks have the better leader, so 2 shifts in the end for the Greek army. That was very good. So they can now do a damage of 60% or maybe 50 and take 10. I have to do some calculations here. Okay, so the result is 16 left for the Greeks, only 6 left for the Pontus, and now the Greeks can actually force the Pontus army by paying 1 movement point to do a retreat. Now, the problem for the Pontus guys is they cannot retreat, they cannot end their move in a transit space, and everywhere else we have garrisons where they can't, which they also cannot enter. That means they are eliminated. They are forced to retreat, they can't do it, so these guys are now eliminated. That was definitely a success for the Greeks. They gain 1 stability because they regain control over Moesia Superior here. So I moved that army from here. I moved a cavalry, a light infantry and a heavy infantry to Gades, and from there we will now embark, trying to go to, maybe attacking right away the town of Gortyn. But I think this is not even possible. We have only 3 movement points left, so it's just enough to move to Knossos. We cannot make an attack. That would cost us an additional point. Anyway, we can go to Knossos if we're lucky, because these guys, they don't have a fleet. It's not going to be so easy for them to bring any units. Well, that's actually not true. It's hard to tell. I mean, there is the option that they will they might hire units there, but they don't have much money left, only $4. So we will see about that. First, let's see if we can get there at all. So I'm going to move down here. This is no problem. All that is fine. We have to start rolling the die at that naval transit point here. On a 6 we have a problem. We can go through here, got to roll here. We're fine. We're going to continue until here now. Again, we're fine. So now we're sitting at Leptis Magna, basically. We got to roll on from there. We're going to move here. Okay, still fine. The next point is that one. Okay, So now we have to stop right here, and we have to roll for continuation at that point. And we cannot continue. So we're sitting here. We got 3 galleys, so that might not be such a big danger here at the moment. Well, actually, I've forgotten the slave revolt. So each of the 3 players that were activated until now should have placed an additional barbarian infantry in there, and then moved 1 space. So I'm going to do that. That was the first marker. These guys will move down here then. And the second one will bring this to a 3. And now it's kind of interesting. I mean, attacking here doesn't make a lot of sense. What about these guys down there? That is army number B. There are also tons of units. So we might as well move down here. We could also move against that city up here. Maybe that's an even better idea. Well, if we're lucky, we might be able to do some damage here. Yeah, I think I want to move these guys in here, and then with the next activation I'm going to give them another army, and I'm going to attack the city here. I have 4 strength points. The city has 5, so it's kind of unlikely, but who knows. So it's a shift in favor of the city, and another shift because the city has a leader. So 2 shifts for the city. Yeah, okay. So that means basically that this army will lose 30% of their strength. I guess they will lose 1 then. Yep, that's exactly what happens. So that wasn't too impressive, and now I'm pretty sure the East can kill these guys quite easily. Okay, so the East, well, they actually, as expected, they easily managed to finish the slave revolt, and they're also seeing now the Carthaginians coming closer here. So they're trying to move that light infantry here to Crete. The problem is they have to pay $1 to Rhodes to be allowed to pass here. That again means that they only have 2 activation markers to use left. This sucks, but they really don't want to lose that city here. So yeah, I think I want to risk it. I need at least a 3 here, and I have that. So I can move here. Well, actually I have to roll again here for continuation. And yes, I can continue. Now I can move through Rhodes, end up here. Gotta roll again. And I made it. So that means I'm now sitting in here. And now it's actually quite a challenge. The army here of Carthage is not too big. A light infantry, a heavy infantry, and that's all. They got a leader. But it is not that easy to make here an invasion against that town now. We'll see if they do it anyway. Okay, now sadly, well, the East can move right again. And they've only rolled a 1 this time. So they can move only 7 spaces, which is enough to do an attack here against Pelusium, which is not even a city. So it is questionable if the East actually wants to risk a battle here, or if they want to retreat into Alexandria. It's probably better for them to move to Alexandria. So first of all, we're going to roll a die. The moment we enter this province, so it's, let me see here, it's 1, 2, 3. Okay, at that point we enter Egypt. 1, 2, 3. Now at that point we roll a die, and the Ptolemean player gets that many battle points. Wow. Okay, 6 more battle points for him. Now we could at that point simply buy a massive cavalry, but I'm not sure if this is what I want to do actually. But it could be an interesting choice. Or if I'm actually allowed to do that. Let's see. Here we go. There is an additional battle point of units. Yeah, I think I can simply choose the type of units. In addition, if at the end of the turn there are still non-Egyptian units in Egypt or Cyrenaica, the Egypt player will get $8 to buy new troops during the next manpower phase. In addition, we have somewhere 2 Egyptian activation markers, I think. Wherever that might be. Egypt activation and another Egypt activation, and they go both now in here. And yeah, I think we actually want to 1, 2, 3, 4. It's hard to tell. I mean, we could buy 6 calf. Maybe that's the most effective thing to do here. Hard to tell. Okay, now considering the fact that the East has actually 4 elephants, it is possibly not the best idea to buy 6 cavalry, because the elephants can simply reduce the cavalry to 0, and it would be only cavalry superiority because the East also has 4, so that would be only a single shift. I think it might be a better idea to retreat here into Alexandria, simply defend the city, and hope for some good rolls here. But I'm not sure about that. I'm going to make a die roll. On a 1 to 2, I'm going to buy calf and do a field battle, which is a crappy idea actually. It just is. We only have, let me see, we got only 4, 7, 8 units here. These suckers have 15. Yeah, it's just so much more. No, I think I want to retreat into the city. So I gain 6. On the other hand, you know, if I got 6 calf battle point, I would be at 4, 10, 12, 14, 15. They have 15, 18, 20, 21, 22, 23. It's not that much more. Hard to tell, actually. Okay, so here we go. On a 1 to 2, I'm going to invest in cavalry. Otherwise, I'm going to invest in heavy infantry and retreat into Alexandria. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to buy six battle points in heavy infantry. Oops. Oh, come on. And then pretty sure I can retreat into Alexandria. Yes, I can just do it. But here's the thing. Because I have the superiority, I can actually subtract 1. I could actually even subtract 3, so these guys are not allowed to retreat. Okay, that's a problem here, because they don't have enough movement points because of my cavalry superiority. Yeah, I should have remembered that, so maybe it makes... I don't know. Okay, yeah, so let's do that battle here. But yeah, I want to exchange that. I mean, I know that these guys have cavalry supremacy because I only have 1 here. So I should have remembered that it would nearly be impossible to retreat to Alexandria. I think I needed a 5 or so. So therefore, what I'm going to do is I'm going to invest in 6 cavalry. Now I don't have a marker anymore, so this will be now 6 cavalry instead of heavy infantry. And that gives me the superiority. Is it? Yeah, it's the superiority. Now, the East player will commit their elephants, all of them. And I think the other guy, the Egypt player, will also commit the elephants. So now we have to roll what these suckers do. Let me see. Great. Yeah, there's the elephant table. Okay, great. Ah, shit. So we want... Yeah, we want a low roll. Now we start with the... Egypt elephant. Okay, that is a 4. So that means no effect. Then we do the 4 Eastern elephants. That's a 2 and a 3. So that negates 1 enemy calf unit. It doesn't destroy it, it just negates it. So there's still 6 left now. Remember, that is calf. The 3 means negates 1 calf unit. Use the elephant, okay, lose the elephant, so they are down to 5 here. Only 5 cavalry, but only for that battle. And then we have 2 more. Now that is pretty good. Negates 1 enemy cavalry unit and eliminates 1 additional enemy BP. So that means that these suckers are now down to 4 cav units and 1 BP is killed. So let's take the light infantry away. And the 4 is no effect. Okay, so actually these guys were not bad. So we have 4 cav left. So somehow I have to mark that. I'm going to take the galley squadrons for that. The rules explicitly say that the countermix is not the limit. Okay, so then we see the battle, and here the East has now much better chances. Now these guys have 4 cav. The East also has 4 cav, so there is no effect there. The East has 3, 18, 21, 25 against 4, 6, 8, 11. So I'm pretty sure this is 2 shifts. Shit. There we are. 25. Yeah, that's 2 shifts. In addition, we have a 3-point leader. The other guy has only a 1-point leader, so that gives us 2 more shifts. So that brings us then to 4 shifts in favor of the East. Let's see if we have a card here. Yeah, we got a tactical surprise. So we're also going to play that one. That means 6 shifts in favor of the East. This is looking very good. That wasn't too great. Now we can reduce that to 0, bring this up to 40%. Now that means they got 5, 7, 11. So they're probably going to lose about 4 or 5 units here, right? Yeah, they're going to lose 4 units. Okay. So there we go. Okay, the Egyptian army will actually retreat. They can now. I'm going to give, I don't want to make a mistake here, I'm going to give them 5 cav of the East. Oh, shit, I can do that later. And they're going to do a retreat. So they're going to do a naval retreat into Alexandria. That is allowed because Alexandria is only a single space away by naval movement, and they also have a galley squadron there. So they can do a naval retreat. They all retreat into Alexandria now. That means they lose 10% less, which means they lose 1 unit less, and we have here now quite a stack. They're all sitting there, and yeah, they have then these 4 additional cav units. There we go. Okay. So it's again the Greek player, and they were unlucky but still kind of lucky. They've drawn the Successor Wars roll-on card. If you are the Greek player, lower your stability by 2. It's pretty bad. That brings them back to unrest. But if you are not the Greek player, you must immediately conduct a major move with any one army of Greek units that in Greek or within 3 land or naval connections of Greek. So if another guy could actually take now that army here and move with them against Greek cities, for example, that would be pretty brutal. So therefore, he still was kind of lucky. And now he actually wants to move here to Tomi and get rid of this tribe over there. So he has 10 movement points. That should be enough. 1, 2, 3, 5. Let's see what we got here. That's only a 2. That shouldn't be a big problem. We have 15. So I guess we got about 7 shifts. Plus 2 for the leader makes it 9 shifts. Yeah. So Okay, yeah, I mean, these guys are crushed. That means now that we control Mösia inferior again, which brings up our stability a little bit. And we still have 5 movement points left, which is good because we might now consider grabbing maybe some areas back in Asia Minor. So it's the east now. He'll pay $1, and that is the last activation he can actually do. He doesn't have any money apart from that, and there are pirates. The player playing this card places a pirate fleet. Well, the pirates are not sufficient to stop the Carthaginian fleet here, so hard to tell where to place them. We're not sure. I might as well place them here to kind of cut the supply lines from Carthage to the east. Maybe that's the best idea, and if then Carthage wants to move back, they can, well, they might at least lose a turn to destroy the pirates here. Okay. Well, on the other hand, I think I can only place them in transit spaces. Yeah. Okay. So, and now I can actually do another attack on Alexandria. Now Alexandria has 18 points, if I'm not mistaken here. I have 21, so there'll be no shift for the numbers here. I get 1 shift for the leader. First I got to roll a die. Okay, that's not bad. That's at least quite some... I have 12 movement points. I can use this raider, this leader for moving, and then the other leader for fighting. So that gives me then basically only a single shift. I cannot afford to buy any siege expertise, so we got to be a little lucky now. Oh shit, that was not good. So we can reduce that to 50%, but basically that means we will lose half of our army. The others will lose only a third, and I'm pretty sure it's time for me to go home after that battle. Okay, so the East actually did retreat out of Egypt and into Jerusalem. And that means now that the armies, the units of the Ptolemies are redeployed. Half of them in Alexandria, the other half somewhere in Egypt. Well, I might have actually considered placing a few guys here. Hard to tell. On the other hand, maybe it's a better idea to place them here, and then if we have an attack here on the Cyrenaica, we can still move an army over there. But these guys kind of block the army there. So I guess it is not necessary. We can leave it like this. I just wonder if the activation chits remain in the cup now when there is no non-Egyptian unit left in Egypt, or if they are removed from the cup. Now let's see about that. Here with this one, replenished. If it is currently okay, if it redeployed by polymers, this does not count. They're just picked up and placed in the new deployment spaces. Huh. Not sure. I think I think they don't remain in the cup. Huh? On the other hand, I don't know actually. I would check that. Well, I couldn't find a clear answer, but I think that the redeployment kind of finishes the activation of the Ptolemies. Next victory points. Here, the Egypt AMs remain part of the AM pool until all non-Egyptian units have left the Ptolemaic provinces. Exactly, so that means they are removed right now. So that one goes away, and if the other one shows up, I'm going to ignore it. Okay. Well, in theory, the East would still have 2 minor moves. I guess they want to move into Lycia at least. And they can do that via naval action, so they can move here to Zide. Maybe even here. So they control now Lycia, which gives them an additional stability. Okay. I mean, I could consider 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I cannot get to Galatia in one move, I think. There's no way I could kill this guy. I could move from here, from Amastris though, and take Ancura out. But that might bring me in conflict with the Greeks, who also can have kind of a claim to Galatia. So therefore, I think I don't want to take that risk for now. My flank here in the north is completely open. I've taken a bad hit, so I don't want to take that risk. Let's draw the next chit. Oops. So this is now Egypt, which is ignored. And we see the Rome. Okay, and Rome now has a hard decision to make. So they could move. Well, first I think they want to take out Britain. That is not a tough decision. So that's what they're going to try to do. So they pay their buck. Draw a card. And that's a Soldier of Fortune. Place a Soldier of Fortune army as per 12.4, unless you are the Roman player, in which case see 12.47 for details. Okay, now that's what we have to do. Now, 12.47. Okay. He may hold on to it to ensure that no other player deceives it. He may play the card in order to bring a dictator into play. If there is any enemy army in any space in his home territory at the time the card is played. Which allows him to draw 3 leaders from the leader pool and take one of them. Now that's not bad. So they might actually hold on to that card. And yeah, then they're going to activate these guys. And they need a good roll here, so they might be able to finish Britannia off in a single turn. But I think they need at least a 3 or a 4, or 1 or 2 won't do it. Yeah, that should be enough. That gives them 10 movement points. So they can attack these guys with their army for 2. And I'm pretty sure they can kill them. They have a 4, the army has a 28, which gives them 7 shifts, plus 3 for the calf supremacy. I mean, this is just ridiculous, but we can roll anyway. That is definitely enough. Wait a minute, is it? 28, it's actually 30 versus 4. How many shifts are that? I think it's 7. Yeah, that's 7 shifts. Then we get 3 for the calf supremacy plus 1, so we have 11 shifts. Now if we raise up that to 100%, which might be actually necessary, no 90 would do it. So we can say 8 shifts. Yeah, then we can reduce this to 0. It works just fine. So these guys are killed. And then we can march on 2 more spaces. Attack these 3 guys here in Glebum. And that was bad. Oh boy. Now how many shifts are that? I think this time it might be... Nah, it's probably also about 7 shifts. 30 versus 3. No, that's actually 10 shifts. That is better. Yeah, it's 10 shifts, 13, 14 shifts. That's exactly enough to do again 100% versus 0 damage. Great. Now these guys are also killed. And now we can move 1 and 3 more spaces against the barbarian army. Oh shit. Now that isn't that great. But we have another attack against them. Oh, I forgot to roll for the leader death. So I gotta do this twice. First one, okay. Second one, fine. And now we rolled a 1 and a 6. Okay, now let's see. Okay, actually we're still good. We can kill these guys. That brings us here. And now we could maybe split one of these into a garrison. Or into 2 garrisons. So that means we have 1 left and... where are these guys? Shit. Oh boy. 1 and another 1. Okay, so that does cost us another movement point. And then we can move 1, 2 spaces here And we end then our movement here, and I definitely want to leave a garrison in Glevum and another one in Londinium, so that I don't have to come back anytime there is some kind of uprising in Britain. Okay, I just want to show you how the Carthaginian fleet sails towards Crete. We managed to get past Arsinoe, also past Cyrene, and now we're crossing the Mediterranean. And here we see now that deep sea naval transit point. And that is a little special because there we have to roll on another table, which is a little more dangerous. So on a 5 or 6 we might have a lot of trouble. Basically we need a 1 or 2. We don't have that. It's a 4. Fleet is blown off course and must stop. I think we can actually subtract 1. No, that's not true. Yeah, that's it. So we have to stop here. We must stop. And but we still have 2 more activations for Carthage. So wait a minute, I'm not even sure if I've drawn a card. No, I didn't. Shit. Should have done that before. But there we go. Another alliance card. I think we already have one. Now, we might consider playing one of these cards. Maybe we can cut a deal somehow. Maybe with the Romans. Hard to tell. It's the Roman player now again. There were no political talks. And he also draws a pirates card. So, and he actually also wants to cut off Carthage. So he plays the pirates again here. And yeah, now there is this big decision to make, but he actually is considering attacking Carthage instead of the Greeks. It is a big chance now. Carthage is very weakly defended. You know, there are only 4 points plus the city, so it's only 9 points. The Roman has an elite leader. They have 4, 8, 12, 16 points, and they have a siege engine here somewhere, a special, the Heliopolis effect, a card. So that sounds like a pretty good option. In addition, they have another legion here that they might pick up, a calf. So I think they have a pretty good chance to take Africa in this turn, take the 2 cities of Carthage, and yeah, that is definitely tempting. The Carthaginians have an army here, but that army is leaderless. They're kind of threatening to take some of Gaul back if they say, okay, we don't try to take Africa back, but we could try to damage the Romans here if they take Gaul. So that's also an option. But then again, we have the option to move into the Danube and kind of honor that unofficial treaty with the Carthaginians. So, because the Roman player actually is a pretty loyal guy, I'm going to roll a die, and only on a 1 he's going to do an attack against Carthage. And that is a 2. So he's not attacking Carthage, but he's moving against the Greek player. And yeah, so let's see how many points he has. That's only 2, so that's not too much. 7 points. Now let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we could attack this sucker here. And then we have another activation, so that's not looking bad. So yeah, I think I just want to do that. I'm going to take them all with me. Oops. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. The Greek player might retreat up to 2 spaces, but I could use my calf superiority to hinder him. No, it's not up to 2 spaces. It's a die roll, exactly, but I can subtract 1. Okay, so you can retreat up to 5 spaces. That's a lot. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not absolutely positive if he is allowed to pick up units. I don't think so. Okay, actually I realized I have cavalry supremacy, not only superiority. So that means the retreating player has to subtract 3, not only 1. So I could move only here. And I picked up a unit here, by the way, the garrison, to drop it then here. So that means it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I got 1 left. Well, not sure. I think I'll actually remain here. And yeah. Okay. So that means the Greeks lost Rhetia, which loses them 1 stability, and the Romans gained that. Okay, apart from that, the Romans have built a city here in Messana. And at that point, I wonder if I should continue. I mean, there are not too many. Yeah, it's hard to tell. I think maybe I can finish the turn. Yeah, why not? I'll try to finish the turn. So the Carthaginian player actually moved now to Knossos, but he decided not to attack Gortyn. If he would do that, it would be a naval invasion, an amphibious attack. That would give him 2 battle shift against him. He would not be able to buy siege expertise. I think it's not very likely that he could have really won that. So therefore, he decided to remain here and build a town there so that the units are not isolated. The problem is he cannot trace a path or a LOC to his home country simply because he cannot use deep sea naval transit points. But it still means that the units don't have to roll for isolation because they are in a town. It only means that he doesn't get the income from the province or from the town itself. So it's kind of a waste, but it gives him this outpost here. It means that the East doesn't control Crete anymore, which also means that they do not fulfill their political goal of controlling the Eastern Mediterranean. And the East is one of the big competitors when it comes to the victory points here to Carthage. So therefore, taking victory points away from him might be definitely an important point. In addition, the Carthaginian might be able to slip through the Greek, through the towns here, through the Greek towns, and to take the Aegean islands, especially if the Greeks are now busy fighting the Romans. And that is one of his political goals. So that could be a starting point for that mission, maybe. Okay, I forgot to mention that the Carthaginians have a slave revolt going on here in Lambesis. So they got to take care about that too. It's the Greeks now, and they actually decided to move west again. Maybe they can kind of protect their area here, although it's going to be really hard. So they rolled a 4, so they can move 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That brings them here, and that allows them to build a town there. It costs them $2 to do so, but if they do that, it gives them the advantage that in Vilnum here, that the Roman elite leader only gives the Romans a single shift, and also the calf superiority doesn't help the Romans to take that town. Of course, they still could slip through here, but the Romans have only a single activation left. So maybe that can slow them down a little bit, and they cannot simply move from west to east and take the whole Danube. On the other hand, it means, of course, that Greek is open. But is it so much in the interest of the Romans to take Greece? I don't know. It's hard to tell. We will see about that, I guess. I could move that sucker to Pellas. I might actually consider that with a minor move, and it works out. So this sucker ends here. Fine. Yeah, what else do I want to do? Hard to tell. It really is. Not many options left here. Do I want to move the galley? Probably not. Okay, I guess I'm going to leave it now like that. Actually, I have to, because I've built the town, which was the first minor move, and now building the heavy infantry is the second one. Okay, then it's the Romans. They pay a buck. Draw a card. Tribal Resurgence. Draw randomly and blindly 2 tribal counters from those not in play and place each one question mark on an unoccupied tribal space. Okay. Yeah, now let's see. We have one here in Brigantium, for example. We could screw up Carthage a little bit. That's definitely an option. I mean, of course, we can also place a few here in the Danube, but then we might have to fight them ourselves later on. So that is, I think I'm going to place them more in Hispania. So yeah, I'm going to place one here in Brigantium. So that means that Carthage loses another one. And another one here in... there's the army here. Maybe in Cordoba. That means it goes down another point. And Spain is no longer controlled by the Carthaginian player. So, now we have to decide, do we want to do that attack on the town here or not? We'll find out. I mean, I think I might do it. I think I have Yeah, I got the Polyocrates effect. That could help me to destroy that town, including the army, and that might then break the Greeks. He may spend 2 talents to buy some heavy siege equipment, a Heliopolis. Place the Heliopolis marker with an army. When that army is attacking a city or town, the Heliopolis gives you 2 battle die roll shifts. It is never used in defense, may be used in only 1 battle, after which it is removed. Okay, so I guess first I want to roll for my activation. That sucks. Okay, that actually... It's hard to tell. It really is. I'm not sure. Only 6 movement points. There are 20 steps in there, or 20 battle points in there. So actually they are stronger than I am. That's a tough call. I mean, what I also could simply do is I could take a smaller force and try to slip through here. Maybe grab, we got how many points? 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. I could not even take out this garrison. So it's not even worth it. Hard to tell. I probably cannot take that city. With 3 shifts, hard to say. Maybe if I'm lucky. Okay, what I actually can do is, problem is the Greeks also have the last activation left. They still have a marker. I do not. So therefore, maybe it's actually a better idea to remain there. 1, 2, 1, 2. Hard to tell. I mean, the Greeks might be actually able to march against Rome with their army. Oh boy. Okay, so here's the plan. I don't know if that makes any sense. I think I want to build a city there, or a town. In Brigantum. By the way, this Vindelicorum, this is where I come from. That is where I was born. It's one of the oldest cities in Germany, Augusta Vindelicorum, founded by the Romans. And yeah. Okay, so I think I do this as a minor move, and then I guess as a major move, not sure if I want to move back to Rome to protect that, or if I want to move here to Aquileia. Then the Greeks might be able to slip through somehow here. There is a choice, there is an option for interception though. So I think I want to, damn, it's hard to tell. Let me see what the odds are for an interception there. Okay, the tactical rating is 4. Nah, that's pretty much it. It's only a 4, and I need a 12. So I would need an 8 to successfully intercept. That's not easy at all. Huh. Oh boy. Oh, you know what? I think I'm actually gonna move back to Rome. Yeah, I think that makes more sense. Let's hope these guys can hold the town there, but I think they have a pretty good chance. Oh, it's not clear. If I leave another garrison there, or another legion there, yeah, then Rome is in danger too. Shit. Oh boy. Okay, I guess I'm gonna leave it like that. And finally it's the Greek player. No, actually there's another one in there. A Carthage one, a Carthaginian one. So the Greeks, they also pay 1. Let's see what they get. Mercenaries. Well, they don't have any money. Well, they could actually. No, they have not. They have to spend 2 talents, which they cannot afford. But it's a hold in hand card. So yeah, now the decision is to make. Do they want to do that attack against Brigantium or not? Hard to tell. It would give them the control back over the Danube if they can do this successfully. Okay, the Greeks rolled a 6 for their movement roll, which brings them 12 movement points. And yeah, they're actually going to try and attack against the Roman town here, Brigantium. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Brings it down to 8. And they got 2, wait a minute, that's 10. They come with 18. So I guess they have 2 shifts in their favor. I'm pretty sure about that. Plus 1 for the leader. And they're going to pay $1 for the siege expertise. The Romans don't have any money left. So it's 4 shifts in their favor. And maybe they can do some damage now. Yeah, that's cool. That's pretty good. So yeah, they actually can reduce that, I think, to 0 and do 60% damage. So the Romans lose 6. So they lose basically 1 legion, and this is reduced to 1. So that's looking good. Now, let me see. I wonder. I think the Romans might be able to do a pre-battle withdrawal from here. Okay, so the Romans withdrew, but they only rolled a 2, so they ended up in Parma. That allows the Greeks to take the city without a fight, and they have now 5 points left. So what they actually can do is they can hunt down these legions here, destroy them, and then simply move back. Okay, now let's see how many shifts we have. That is a 18 versus 4, that's probably 4 shifts. I don't think it's enough for 5. Ah, shit. 18 versus, yeah, that's 4 shifts. Plus 2 makes it 6 shifts. So that wasn't too great. Yeah, shit. Okay, I think I have to reduce that to 0. And then the Romans have to reduce that legion. But that's it, right? They're still alive. They were kind of lucky here. And then the Greeks have to regroup, and then they simply move back in here, I guess. Yeah, okay. Interesting. I didn't expect that. I thought the Romans would have an easy time conquering the Danube, but the fact that the Greeks had the last chit and managed to build a city here, that gave them a much harder time. Okay, finally we have Carthage. Let's see what we get here. The Carthaginians still have a lot of money, which might allow them to build a few towns or cities. Or not a lot of money, but at least 4, which is not bad. But they have the problem that they don't control Spain anymore, and that sucks. That definitely sucks. They want to regain control over Spain. The question is, can they do it? It's going to be tough. It really is. I think actually it is impossible at the moment for the Carthaginian player to regain control. Ah shit, I forgot to do the slave army actions here. Damn it. I think we had at least 2 activations. So I'm going to add... Well, there are 4, there should be only 3. I'm going to add 2 there. And move these suckers twice so they end up here. Maybe it's not that clever. Maybe I should actually move them here. Yeah. So I can increase their strength even more. In the mountains they're harder to hit. And then... well, we'll see. Okay, I won't get Spain, I guess, but I can try to grab the Aegean Islands here. So, let's say I take these guys. I have a garrison left. Now, if I, with my first action, reduce the cavalry, I think I get 2 garrisons for that. Do I? Shit, it's not possible. I have to reduce the heavy infantry. That gives me 3 garrisons. Well, I guess I'm going to do that then. Okay, well, Carthage actually didn't do a lot. They just built here Malacca, the city, and no more options then. Now I'm at the victory point phase here, and Rome was actually the best. They had the second most GOPs with controlling Gaul, and yeah, that's basically it. The most had these the Greeks with the Danube and their political goal. Carthage lost a lot because they didn't control Spain anymore. That also gave them the loss of the territory, the loss of the political goal. They lost a lot of points. And the East, well, they are okay, but not very good. I think they were 3rd best or something. No, not even that. They were last, actually, when it came to the political points. With the civ points, the Romans were best because of their 5 cities here. The East is still doing pretty well. Carthage managed to close up a little bit. Greece is bad when it comes to civ points. They simply don't have the resources to buy cities. They have to put them in their army to fight the Romans, and therefore they're in a difficult situation here. Okay, so that was a long one, I guess. Hope to see you on the next video or on lonesomegamer.com. Bye.